Hello. Hey guys, are we live? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Is this working? Let's see here. Should be here. Hey, I'm here. Hello, hello. We are starting in 1 second. Hold on. Where are you guys from? Today is super early here. It's 10 a.m. and I feel like I'm still not awake. So I woke up super early today. But we're going to let me know in the chat, where are you from? I chose this time so we can like people from Australia can join. I know we're all from all around the world. India, we have India. We have Denmark, in Germany. Hello, hello. I'm just finishing up a few things here. Hold on. Malaysia, England. Awesome. Still haven't figured out how we can incorporate the camera here, but I think this is fine. Hello, hello. Let me see. Something is a little delayed here. Hold on. So today we're going to paint live today, and today we're going to paint one thing, not 10 things like we usually do. And 30 p.m. here in India. 3 a.m. Oh my gosh. Slovenia, Sweden, Cambodia. Hey Chloe, hey Sheba, Philippines. Netherlands, India. We're starting in 1 second, just making sure, because I wanted to include a moderator today, but things are a little bit delayed right now. And let's see here. Hold on. All right. We can. Let's see here. Too many windows open here. All lost. Where is it? Here. Good morning. It's 10 a.m. here, and I've never done a live stream that early. So for me, it's like I'm sorry if I'm a little bit slow today. I woke up at 6 or so, so I'm still not properly awake, but we will get through this. Okay. Noel, if you're here, I can't click on your name in the list. Could you please type something into the chat? Because otherwise I can't select you as a moderator. I'm still here, don't worry. I also can't forget to breathe. I always forget. Well, okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see it. Oh gosh, it's so fast here. Hold on. Okay. Did it work? Okay. Finally, I was like clicking, and the name was like jumping away from me. So Noelle is now the moderator today, and she will make sure she's the troll police today. Because a lot of you said there were trolls last time, and I don't want this to happen this time, or like minimize it. And that's kind of the downside of public live streams, where everyone can join. You never know who will join. So we'll see how everything will be today. All right. let's start. So today, as I said earlier, we are gonna paint something a little bit like one thing, not multiple things like last time, but I show you one technique. And again, you can use this multiple times in your painting. Like you can change colors, you can change everything that is related to that. All right, let me see here. Just making sure that everything's fine here. So let's talk about the materials. So again, we're going to paint with watercolors because we are in the watercolor season. And I'm going for the paper. Let's start with paper. I'm not fuzzy about watercolor paper today again because it's just like a simple illustration, and we don't need any type of watercolor paper that allows us to create like super even surfaces. And today I will be using again Strathmore watercolor paper. What is it? 400 series 400. This is what I'm gonna use. But you can use any other watercolor paper you have. It doesn't have to be cotton paper. It can be anything you want. But drawing paper, it's not that great either. But you can still use it if you want. Just follow the technique. You don't even have to use watercolors when I'm showing you this. But all right. So then watercolors. For watercolors, I'm going to use. It doesn't really matter which one. I have 3 right now on my table because I'm switching around sometimes. So I have this messy. This is like the reality. The Van Gogh watercolor set. You can see my yellows are not yellow anymore, but that's okay. I also have here my Schminke set because I'm switching around sometimes between colors. If I don't like you can see, I always like to use my primary, so they're usually always empty. And because I usually like to mix my own colors, and yeah, this is all we need. Watercolor set. We'll see if I have a little bit of lemon yellow here. Maybe I will switch to my Schminke set. I finally bought some watercolor paper recently. It's Arto Camp paper. It says cats in the belfry. I don't know what that is. All right. Then for watercolor brush, again, I'm only using one brush. This is my Black Velvet Silver brush. And I like this brush because it has a nice fine tip and it holds a lot of water and paint. So this is great. And I don't have to use multiple brushes. I can use one single brush. So this, and then pencils because I want to draw something as well. So I'm gonna use one is what is it? 1 HB pencil, just to outline, to sketch out things. And also I have one that is this, what is it? A 6B pencil. It's like a soft pencil. It was a gift from Hanemühle, so that's why the brand is here. So 6B, because it's a soft pencil. I want to show you a trick how you can transfer your sketch to your paper, because we will be sketching today a little bit, but I show you exactly how to do this in a very simple way. So, and when you, for example, are afraid to mess up your watercolor paper, or you are afraid to ruin your sketch, you have the outline, and then you can transfer it with an easy way. You don't have to use your window. You don't have to use any like light, how they call it, light tables, something like that. And yeah, okay, so paper this, and then for the writing, I will also write something. This is a fine liner graphics. I just randomly grabbed it because it was light around, but you can use any fine liner you have, or even just your pencil, or any just something to write. Because I'm going to show you what we're going to paint. This is probably what you're waiting for, and this is something like this. This is a small, simple sketch watercolor illustration of a butterfly, because like if you notice on my YouTube channel, butterfly is like one of the symbols of this channel. And when even before I started my YouTube channel, I painted butterflies as a locket, like a necklace. And I used I used to paint them all the time in different colors and put them in lockets, and had my own handmade shop and where I sold them. And because I felt like, because if you know what butterfly movie, like Butterfly Effect, where one little movement can start one like huge movement. And I kind of like this idea that sometimes small things feel like it's not really important, or just like a small progress and it doesn't really matter, but it can create a momentum of a huge movement, something that you haven't expected. And also here in the I added this quote: give yourself time, because I noticed that if you join my Facebook group, maybe Noelle can add the link to the chat where you can join it, but I also linked it in the description box below. And a lot of people were saying that they're struggling with patience when it comes to watercolor painting. And I think patience in general is something, it's not even not just in watercolors, but in life in general. People are super impatient. Everyone wants to have everything right now, immediately, and they get super frustrated and give up super quickly because something doesn't happen immediately. And that's why I wanted to create something that is where you can create maybe a poster or a card. Maybe you can gift it to someone. Maybe you can, I will show you this, how you can create this, and then you can create multiple of those. Maybe you can scan it and make prints, whatever. And you can even add this, give yourself time. Maybe you find even a better quote that fits. So this is what we're going to paint. Are you happy with this idea? Yeah, here's the link to the Facebook group. You can join. But we will post it in later as well. So you don't have to like go back and forth right now. But so you know, there's a Facebook group where you can join and share your art. And see what everyone else had created. And it's really fun to see how people used my technique and created their own. So this is the goal, because I wanted to show you a technique, and then so you can get creative with that. All right. Vismiti said, obviously I'm happy. That's awesome. All right, so let me quickly grab something to drink. I don't know what, whenever I go live, I get so nervous and I'm start stuttering, and that it's super early here. Well, it's not super early, but still kind of makes me a little bit more all over the place. Hey, Makoccino says, snail from mail, tuning in while working on my studio room today. Can't wait to work on this later. Awesome. What do you mean, please take your name? I don't understand. Awesome. So let's start with, I will show you how to create the butterfly, because I know some people are saying like, I would love to have some outline so I can copy this, but I also want to show you how actually a simple, like for example, this is like one of, there are many shapes and many colors, many types. Like I think this is called monarch butterfly. And I mean, I think it's orange, but I made this into this bluish green color. And so we can see that, I mean, there are lots of curves and lots of details, but we will start with simple shapes again, because you will see exactly how you can create it yourself super easily. So for example, here you can see that it's basically like a cross when you start with the drawing. Like we can, like if, for example, if you want to paint, I would suggest starting to paint this maybe in a bigger size, and then you can make it smaller, because it can be a little bit tricky if you're like not super comfortable painting with small lines, thin lines, and small details and stuff like that. So I would suggest, because it can be tricky. So for example, if you use a bigger sheet of paper, maybe make it bigger and use a paper that is around the same size as your paper that you're going to paint on. So you can know exactly how much space you have and things like that, okay? All right. Landscape painting, please. I have so many landscape paintings on this channel, so that's why I'm wanted to branch out a little bit in these live streams to show you that there are lots of different things you can paint with watercolors. All right, so I think I will for this, I will be using this big sheet, and I will be making my butterfly maybe somewhere, I don't know, like, let's see here. Maybe I will put it into this box, so I can plan out, okay, I have so much space, so this is my paper, and then I will place it somewhere here, so I know I have so much space to create my butterfly. And then if you look at this shape, you can see that I haven't looked up into the anatomy of a butterfly, so I don't know exactly how everything's called, but here's like the body of the butterfly. This is like a cone shape, like a little bit like goes down, and then here it's like a cross, and you have these wings. But the cross is because you have these two wings and two wings up below, and this is kind of like the cross that creates by overlapping those. So I will be starting with this. So with the body, I have the body in the middle. So there's like a small head. Let's say this is like a small head here, and then a small sausage kind of like goes into like a how's it called, like this pointy line, maybe a little longer here, like so. So this kind of like I don't know how this looks, like a pin, I don't know. And then you can see that it starts somewhere around below the head, starts the cross. So I'm gonna add it like a horizontal line, like so. And it's a little bit longer than the whole body, so maybe I will add it like here. You can see I created this. You can use a pencil actually to measure things out sometimes. So for example, if I put it here, it's kind of like here. So it's around the same size as the body, kind of. And I have this vertical line. And now what I want to do, you can see there's like this curve and this other curve, but you can actually break it down into a triangle also. So I'm gonna add it like here, a triangle there, a triangle to the side. That goes a little bit over this line here. So a little bit over the horizontal line, and then just connect those two. So you have this simple shape of a butterfly wing. And below these, you have also like looks like a round shape, but also a little bit oval. So I'm gonna just add, where did I have it? Just add just like a circle, like so. Just very simple. And then as you can see, you can already like just combine this, and you have already like the lower wings. And then you can add, like, for example, there's like this curve. And then here you can go here to create this curve. You create this C shape turned to the other side. So like so, for example. And then here you go, a curve, like a C shape again. A C shape goes like that. And then curve, and then another C shape. And then you have one simple wing. And you can then still adjust and see if this looks good, if maybe you have something is off. But this is like basic shape. And here again, you have this line, this diagonal line, and then you create a curve around where you have this, where it meets here to this point, and then you create another curve that's facing to the left now. And again, another curve, like a C shape, and then again, a C shape that's curved to the other side. So basically, this is the basic shape. And then you can just adjust, like here I have my eraser here. I didn't mention in the beginning, but basically then you can remove some of those lines so you don't get distracted. And then you can finalize. Just add it like this. So it's basically, it looks like a little bit like a cone of an ice cream. If you look, like you can create like an ice cream cone with this, basically also. Like so. And I think I will make the lower wings a little bit bigger, because if you see, this is a little bit smaller compared to my sketch. So I'm gonna just a little bit, like you can see in the sketch, I created this diagonal line, and I added the circle a little bit too far closer to the body. So I would suggest, if you want to make this more like this, at the circle right where this diagonal line hits the horizontal line, this point, and then you combine it to this side, because I didn't pay attention to that, so I didn't make it correctly how I planned it. But that's okay. That's why sketching out things and like seeing, is it really correct? What did I do? Before actually starting to paint on the paper where you're going to paint it is really helpful. So you don't have to erase multiple times and ruin the paper. So, that's a clever mako. I followed you and I got it, Lisa. Awesome, Lisa. And again, there are multiple different shapes of different butterflies, but we'll be starting with one. So you can have this as the base. And then on top, we have just like these small lines that go up and then to a curve to create these angle, like these antennas, basically. Super simple like that. I mean, there are more realistic versions where they're a little bit crossed or a little like to the side, or I don't know, but I will keep it this way. And then for the details, you basically also want to think about curves and ovals. And here, for example, I have this black area with a little bit of white space. So this is where I won't cover it with watercolor. So this is just the paper you're looking through. You can also, if you have antler, exactly. So if you, for example, have gouache, or if you have masking fluid and you don't want to paint around, you can also just use masking fluid or paint those white dots with gouache or acrylic paint or something like that. All right. Let's see here. So for example, to create this shape, you can also see that it goes to the side, like it's also like a curved shape. It's like another like a balloon shape almost, where it goes to the side around this area where the wing crosses the horizontal line. You can create this shape here also, and again another shape around. So basically you have these drop shapes that are looking towards the body of the butterfly. And then you want to create, let's what I don't know how other people paint butterflies, or what's the order of things that they do. I always like to paint these curved lines, this one that goes to the side, like up curved, and one goes here, because now I know where these vertical lines are going to be. So for example, here I know this goes here, this goes somewhere here, and I just divide the space into those vertical / a little bit diagonal lines. And you don't want to make them too close together. You want to have some space in between. And one is also here, that is somewhere where this is like where the lower wing hits, and it goes a little bit up. So it's continuous, that they overlap basically, those two wings, the upper and the lower, and they create this line here and also here. And for the bottom also, I like to start with this drop shape below, somewhere here. It goes again, this is like another butterfly in the butterfly, or maybe even like some other insect. And again, all these vertical and horizontal lines, they are all around this drop. So I'm just gonna add them like so. Don't have to think about it too much. Just like it's like a sun rays kind of. And those in the middle, like the last two here, are just hitting the body. And then I continue this on the other side, just like so. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly like, you don't have to exactly have the lines in a specific like space in between. You can just loosely paint them out. And then instead of having those sharp curves here, you want to create these curves that are, so you have these lines that you created, and then you just create another curve. Like here, you can see there's this curve. So you basically create a cap on these lines that you just created, like so. And you have this basic shape of a butterfly. Is this all clear for everyone who's following the painting tutorial? If you guys are painting something else, you can also comment this in the chat so I know exactly what you're painting on today. Because this live stream is for everyone who just needs some company to paint and get creative and want to chat. So this is basically the outline. And then you can still think about if you like it or not. Maybe you can think this is a little bit too, for example, if you compare my butterfly here with this, you can see it's a little bit different because the wings here are a little bit taller than here. So if you feel like, okay, I like the shape a little bit differently, you can still adjust it. So don't be like, someone said or asked me if a true artist never erases, or true artist perfectly paints everything in one go. No, like there's no shame in erasing, trying it again, adjusting things. That's the whole point of sketching. So you know exactly how you like it the best and how you can work from this point on. Samantha says she's following along. Awesome. And up, drawing a cat. Awesome. I like cats. All right. So now that let me see if I want to adjust things. Maybe I will add these, make a little bit like I create a little bit, like I don't want to have it super round. I want to make it a little bit, also go a little bit down, like it's a wider curve here, and maybe also here, like so. So this is the basic shape I want to go for. And you don't have to have all the lines like perfectly created. You can still adjust things or like add specific details on the paper that you're painting on later. So this is what I'm gonna work on. Now, this is the sketch, but we worked so hard to adjust it and create it and things like that. What you can do is you can trace it by using a soft pencil. So soft pencil is in this case like a 6B. If you have pencils that have, like for example here, I have one that is says 2H. So the higher the number of H is, the harder the pencil, and B is like the softer version of that. So the pencil lid is very soft, and you can like it smudges more easily. So what you can do is you turn your paper. So this is the sketch that I created, and then you just turn around the paper, and then you take your soft pencil and just scrub over it like so. Maybe not on the paper here, just like so. Just so you cover all the outline that is on the other side, just like this. And then you can use this as a transfer foil, basically. You can also buy something similar, like these sheets. But now you can also create them yourself. So now I'm gonna place it somewhere where I want this. Let me just remove this area here. And I just place it where I want this butterfly to be, maybe here, so it's in the center. It doesn't have to be super in the center, but you get what I mean. And then you can use your pencil that you use to sketch out, or another pencil. Here, for example, I'm going to use my 2H pencil, but it doesn't really matter. And now you want to outline the shapes that you just created. So you transfer the lid that is the left that is here on the other side onto the paper. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to just press it down, not too hard. You don't want to like press down the line into the paper. You just want to transfer the pencil. And then just gonna outline these lines to transfer the butterfly. So you can see I have this loose outline. Okay, so that. And I will also outline these curvy lines that I created earlier, just so I know where I want to, where the colorful areas are going to be. We don't have to color outline every single line, just the ones that will guide you later. So for example, these outlines here and these drop shapes. Just also check if they're actually transferring or not. Sometimes I draw and then I see, oh, didn't work. So and then I have those white areas, and they are pretty much, I mean, you don't have to be super precise. You can, for example, edit more loose like it did here, or you can create these drop shapes also like around this here where the black area will be. I will just add those drops here and there, just so give me ideas so I don't forget them later. And I will also add some white areas here, but I will do this when I'm going to paint. So this is basically what I transferred, and now you can use your pencil to, if there's something that you don't see properly, you can even adjust. Like for example, if you still feel like, okay, I want them, for example, here, I want the wing to be a little bit pointy here, not so round like here. So I'm just adding this a little bit to my outline, and also here. Like so. And then like this. Yeah, I think I have all the lines in place. And also you want to make them, here you don't have to worry about pencil lines, because you can see here you will draw or paint over those pencil lines with black watercolor or black any like fine liner or marker if it's easier for you. So you don't have to worry about making them super delicate and very, so you barely see them. So don't worry about that. And yeah, maybe I will also make them a little. So pretty much this is the shape. Now you can still, as I said, you can always adjust things, so you don't feel like it has, or it doesn't have to be exactly like your sketch or how I planned it. Don't worry about it. Just have some some simple outlines in place, and then you can work from there and try maybe next time some other shape or some other design. Now it is some random shapes, but becomes a butterfly. And all right. Just adjusting a few more lines. So I'm happy. So maybe here also this line was a little bit longer than I created, but this is just me being trying to be too precise and to overwork things. But this is a tendency I'm working on. Like you shouldn't be too, like sometimes you just need to let go and sketch out loosely and be happy with it. Sometimes I'm like, okay, but maybe if I do this and that, it looks better. And then you spend 3 hours on one line. This is not the goal here. All right, so let's just start with this. Okay, let's not overdo it. And then she continues to outline. All right. All right. Then now for the butterfly, you don't have to use these colors that I liked. If you join my last watercolor live stream, we painted the what did we paint? We painted the ice cream popsicles, and the goal there was to play around with colors and to mix them on the paper. But you can also use one color and just create different values of one. Like, so for example, you start with a very dark blue and then you make it super light. So from I think I will, I have one blue, so maybe I will do one that is, what color should I use for this butterfly, for this one? I have this blue one. What can I use for this one? Maybe pink with yellow again. I don't know. I kind of like this blue greenish color. I don't know. Yellow, purple, orange. Orange or purple. Well, orange and purple will just create a muddy result. I want to make them mix a little bit together on the paper. Orange, turquoise. Well, we have turquoise here. Maybe we can mix blue with turquoise. Blue and pink. Blue and what was the other one? Purple. Yeah. Pink and cyan. Pink and blue. Yeah, we can make pink and blue. We'll see how this create what you can create. So now there is always this discussion. Red and blue are not the primary colors. The cyan and magenta, but these are just names. Like magenta is a name. There's like no magenta. Like someone called a certain color magenta, and I know people use this in print and stuff, but there are different types of reds, and they're there for a reason. So I always like just say, let's just call everything like the red family or the blue family and the yellow family, and then we discuss like this. There's this red that is a cool red and a warm red and stuff like that. So you don't have to be like, no, this is magenta. Magenta is the real thing. Why are you discriminating the warm red also? Like it has a place here as well. All right, so I forgot to mention I also have my jars of water again. We won't paint much of a lot today, so I don't really need so much water today, but let's use this. And one jar is for rinsing the brush and one jar is for the clean water, so everything is clean and bright. And I'm going to start with painting these like this area here where the butterfly wings are. And I'm gonna start, I won't make it, I think I will start with, let's see here, maybe let's add, this is a quinacridone rose. So here I used, I think, what is this? It was cerulean blue and lemon yellow. I think I used lemon yellow to create these green shades here. And here I'm gonna use quinacridone and yeah, let's use, well, ultramarine. I will use ultramarine, or maybe well, let's stick to quinacridone and cerulean blue. So I'm gonna start here, and remember that watercolors, they dry, they look lighter when they dry. So depending on, for example, if you want to have it super delicate, then make sure that the colors are not super saturated. If you want to make them more colorful and bold, then make them slightly more saturated, so a little bit darker. And then I'm just going to outline. And again, you don't have to stay inside the lines. You can even paint outside of the lines a little bit, because you will paint over it with a black watercolor or fine line or anything else. So you can either color it in one color, or you can also use water to blend out some of the color to add some transparency. Like watercolor is a transparent medium, so use that to your advantage. Don't try to make it super covering, because it's not the point of watercolors. And someone was also saying that we're worried that their watercolors are too transparent, and this is the whole thing. Like, watercolors should be transparent. It's actually like the a good thing. You want to look for transparent watercolors. And then I'm gonna use again water a little bit and drag it down and add a little bit of my cerulean. Oh, that's a little bit too much. A little bit cerulean blue here, downwards to also everything along the body here. But I think I will also cover it in blue, actually. Let me, this is like going to be the base for everything else. Just coloring it here. And just playing with the mixing on the paper. So, and again, now, for example, you can see that or maybe you can see it, but here the paper started to dry. So we have two layers. One is dry, one is still wet. So you can just use a clean damp brush and reactivate the paint that is already dry, and then just quickly blend everything together, so you don't have these cauliflower effects or no harsh lines in between those colors. Just like that, maybe. So we have like a little bit pink, a little bit turquoise here, a little bit blue. I know turquoise, purple. I don't know why I call it turquoise all the time. And then for the other one, I will do the same. So I'm using my pink color here, quinacridone. So I rinse my brush and use a little bit of water, clean water, to drag down the paint. And then I'm using a little bit of this cerulean blue. And again, this Van Gogh set is like the colors are very easy to lift from the set. So sometimes you need to be very careful how you dip your brush into the set. Just mix it, and also make sure that before you let everything dry, you remove any like puddles. Also, don't forget, sometimes when you paint with watercolors, that they go through weird stages. Like now, this looks like, oh my God, what is she doing? Why is this like such a blob? Makes no sense. But this is just the base. Like, you start with one layer and then you build up everything else. And here you also don't want, like, it's not super important to have any like super even washes. So if there are some lighter areas, don't freak out about it. It's fine. Blaze is asking, when is your book releasing? My book, well, it's planned actually in December. So because there's lots of a lot of like back and forth going on. I'm still painting, still writing it, and it takes me forever because it's just like whenever I create something, I get like 5 million new ideas, and I start redoing things, and that is like one of my problems right now. I'm like planning out, and then I'm like, oh, but I have another idea. Maybe let's do this and add this and remove this, and this is like I need to work on that. Like Noelle knows that I make plans, and I'm like, okay, but maybe we can do this instead. Oh, Fabian Fierro donated a super chat €2. Thank you so much. It's awesome. I think that's my very first super chat donation. All right, so now we have this base for the butterfly. Let's see if maybe I can move some of the, because I forgot some areas here while chatting. Just adding a little bit of pink here. Also, the point is, what I want to try to say is that sometimes I get messages where people are saying, I don't know what to paint, I have no ideas, and I'm struggling, I'm so uncreative. But the problem is that they just sit and wait for an idea. Sometimes you just need to paint something, like even if it's just a block. You just need to do something and start painting, and then the ideas will come. All right, so here you can see I'm creating a total mess here because I'm rewriting the paint just because I want them to be a little bit more like blended out together, because I added a little bit of paint here below and I wanted to make sure that everything blends out together. So this is like the benefit of watercolors. You can reactivate the paint and then just move it a little bit and readjust things. So I'm just using a little bit more of this pink. Why not? And this probably will dry a little bit darker than this here, but that's okay. Snail for mail, I'm curious about your book now. Will it have step-by-step tutorials, or is it more like general information? We'll have step-by-step tutorials, yeah. And yeah, I'm kind of like, because you could include so many different things. You can paint so many different things, and I'm like, I could include this and that, but I need to just decide, okay, I will stick to that. I can't please everyone. Some people might want to paint something completely different, and I don't have this in this book. So, but I can't include everything. I'm just focusing on things that I like to paint and where I feel like could be fun to paint for a beginner or someone who wants to like need some more ideas. All right. Yay, she used black and pink. All right. Let's see here. Did I have? Yeah, I think I just should stop touching this butterfly because it's like a little all over the place. Now here, this is dry. This is still drying. I mean, this is dry. This is still drying. Yeah. And now, if your watercolors are dry, also like maybe you started on one side and then continue on the other side, and that one side is already dry. Now you can use your black watercolors. Now my black here is pretty empty. This is a Payne's gray, and here I don't remember which black it is here in my watercolor in my schminke set. I will just use this to outline. Like I will wait a little bit for this area to dry just in case, and I will start outlining. Now I use one brush for that. If you're struggling to paint details, you might want to use a very thin brush, but they tend to not hold a lot of water. That's why I like to use this brush, because it has a fine tip, and then you can make sure, like, you want to remove all the excess moisture to really create this fine tip, and then you can use this to create very loose, like thick. For example, here I have a very thick line. You can also use it to create thin lines, just depending on how you hold your brush, and that's why I like this brush for all sorts of projects, because it's like one, how it's called, a versatile brush. You can use it for many different things. And this brush is size 8, yeah. And Snail for Mail sounds like an exciting book. I think you should go with the projects that make your own heart sing. Those are always the best books. Yes, that's true. Do we have to pay for your watercolor course? You mean the ones that link? This is just a waiting list, but this is the course that I linked. This is it's not the enrollment are closed right now, but it's basically a roadmap to where I talk about exactly what supplies you need, how to mix colors, how to control water, how to create different washes from flat to gradients, what you keep in mind. So it's basically, you don't have to hunt down all the little information on YouTube, or like even if you watch the YouTube tutorial, you may that still doesn't work. Why it's not working? You have this in this roadmap, and you kind of save yourself time and frustration. So that's why I created this roadmap to watercolor painting. But the roadmap is not open for enrollment now. But if you are interested, you can submit your email and name. So can you update you when the doors are open? And here again, I have this silver black velvet brush in size 8, and I will use black watercolors to outline the shape, and then color in all these black areas, and leave out these white like circles that I created earlier. And if you don't have this, if you don't outline them, you can just randomly leave out some space, and then just like here, for example, I randomly left out some white space and then colored all around it. Mariam asked, does a hairdryer makes cauliflower effect? The cauliflower effect happens when there are different amounts of water on your paper, and you have, for example, a very cheap watercolor paper. Then when the paper dries, it has different drying stages, and then, for example, you have wet area and then a dry area, and the wet area will push away the dry area, and then you have these cauliflower effects. So it's doesn't matter if you use a hairdryer or not. Like if you have multiple, like you have pools of water and here it's very flat, this is basically what causes those, and plus your paper that can't handle all these different amounts of water. Can we use a black brush paint to outline? Yes, of course. I struggled because the brushes hold too much water, so it was stagnant. Or yeah, that's why you have for example, you have to like release some water on the jar inside your pan, for example, when you pick up paint, or you have a tissue paper to soak up excess water. It's not like the amount of water that is inside your brush dictates how much, like this is the only thing. Like you still have to adjust. It's just like when you, for example, want to cover a lot of space, you want to have maybe a lot of water, a lot of paint, but sometimes you don't. So that's why you have multiple different techniques to adjust the amount of water you have. Yeah, paper towel or tissue paper, something like that. Will you make videos about brushes? I think I have a video about watercolor brushes, like all the different types and why and where to use them, how and what's the point. You can check it out. I think I don't know how it's called, but it has lots of brushes on the thumbnail. So now I'm just outlining carefully these lines that I created earlier. And now if, for example, you don't see those lines anymore that clearly, you can also, this is also opportunity to either use a pencil on top and adjust things, or you can just paint a little bit more loose not exactly how you plan out. So you have some space to adjust your painting. So now I'm just outlining these areas here that I created earlier. My line with my brush. Oh, also one thing, because someone was asking about my watercolor course. The good thing about because what I like about courses, or like for example even just a membership site where you pay, it's the people that are there, they pay attention, and they're actually there to learn and to paint and to have fun. And for example, if like last time we had lots of trolls and spamming and people didn't like that at all. I mean, it's a public live chat and public live stream. And if, for example, you enroll in a course or a membership or any site where you have to pay, it's like people are serious about being there and learning. So I feel like if you want to be surrounded by people who actually are serious about learning and getting better at something, I think this is already like um, a good thing to do. Like a friend Jenna, for example, she says lots of courses, and there was so many people who learn and get better, and because they actually paid and have skin in the game and are serious about it. And if you pay attention. That's why I also like to enroll in myself. Like I enroll in multiple courses and learn because I'm serious about it. Because if you have, for example, on YouTube, there are so many free tutorials, and still people are like missing things or don't watch them because they're not super serious. But I think if you invest in yourself, like, okay, now is the time. Now I will be pursuing my hobby for real. And then you have are surrounded by people who are the same as you. So I think this is such a big plus. So I had created these outlines, you can see, for these circles and like these ovals and stuff like that. And then I'm just coloring in. Princess asked, when I use watercolor, it becomes dull after it dries. Why does it happen? This is pretty much what I'm always saying is your watercolor paper. It's just some watercolor paper, when like the way it made, the surface and all the ingredients, the material, everything plays a huge role in how your paint dries, how your colors look. So because I feel like everyone's like, what watercolors you use, what brushes are used, and then like, do I really need to use watercolor paper? It's like they completely forget that watercolor paper is the foundation of your painting, and if you paint on bad paper, your watercolors can't really shine. So even if you have super expensive watercolors, they will look dull, like on bad paper. And plus, you also want to make sure that if you mix colors, you don't mix too many colors. Otherwise, so the more pigments you mix together, the less vibrant they are. And sometimes if you use opaque watercolors, like for example, chalky, like bad quality watercolors, they also don't really look vibrant. But again, there are so many multiple factors that can play a huge role. So it's not just your watercolors, it's also the paper. Or you use, for example, here I use a lot of water, so they are also not super vibrant, but it's not what I was going for. Do you, a snail formula ask if I keep a sketchbook or more creating standalone pieces? Yeah, I feel like when I paint something, I create multiple single pieces because I feel like sometimes I just need to, for example, if I paint something, or for example, for my book or something, when I was painting a project, I painted this like 10 times because I didn't like this here. I didn't like the colors I chose, and I didn't like how I put stuff on there. And if I would use this in a sketchbook, I would be completely I will run out of paper in just like 2 days. So I like to have, I buy big sheets of watercolor paper, and then I cut them to size, because then I feel like I have so much paper and I can paint so many different paintings. And yeah, and what a sketchbook is kind of like, it has just a few pages and you're done. And so you can see it from a blob here on the side. On this side, it's like when you like if the girls, if someone's doing makeup and you, for example, added eyeshadows and everything, but your eyelashes don't have mascara or something like that, your eyes look very like, they disappear in your face sometimes. But if you add some mascara, all of a sudden you have eyes again. Well, it's pretty much it's for me this way. All right, now I spent like half an hour on this one wing. Sorry. When I reactivate the color, the fibers start coming off after 2-3 times, and still the effect I want doesn't happen. I'm using should I use? Yeah, if it's cheap watercolor paper, it doesn't matter if it's 300 GSM or something else. If it's low quality, it will happen. Yeah. So I would recommend, if like I said, watercolor paper is the foundation of your painting, so you want to invest some a little bit more money into it than you would, for example, invest in watercolor paint itself. All right, so here I'm just outlining here because now the butterfly is pretty much dry here, and I mean, some people like to outline their watercolor paintings. I usually don't do this, but here in this case, the butterfly had some texture or something. I don't know. I will just add a little bit of this black, like very loosely. I mean, here the shape's a little bit bigger than here, but that's fine. And maybe like the shape, if you make this curved lines following the shape, it looks like a little bit more 3D. And also here, half the butterfly is a little bit taller than the wings as here, as you can see, but that's also fine. Like, you can always adjust things. And for example, for some reason, when I do it live, it's a little bit difficult to explain everything and paint and pay attention to everything. So sometimes my paintings don't turn out exactly how I planned them, but that's okay. That's why it's okay to paint multiple times and see exactly, okay, what did go wrong this time. Here, I got here again. Like so, again, I have these round shapes are all around the butterfly. Here's a little bit of dark here. And then I'm just filling out this lower part. And here you can, for example, make them a little bit wavy, these wings on the bottom, just to add some variety. And I'm just basically randomly make these shapes, like these 6 swirls. And then I will just cover it, the rest with like watercolor paper, like watercolor paint on paper. So also I made so far we had 3 or 4 live streams. If there's anything, if you feel like, okay, I really liked one idea, could you turn this into a tutorial, like a short version of that? Let me know, because some people like to have the real-time videos. Sometimes people like to have shorter videos, which is like, this is like the problem. Sometimes I make videos that are shorter, and then people are saying, this is too short, I can't keep up. And then I make longer videos, and people say, can you make it faster? It takes too much time. so can please everyone. That's why I have asking about if you want like different versions of something. Can I use any type of paper? Norai asks. For watercolor, we want to use watercolor paper. Okay, now for the left part, left wing, I will be using, I will just turn around my paper because otherwise it will be too difficult. And I'll just outline like so. Bonbon says you can, but it will suck if it's not watercolor paper. Yeah, like I feel like if you use bad paper and you have good quality watercolors, you're just wasting your supplies, in my opinion. Like, I'd rather have like, I will adjust it into invest more in watercolor paper and not slightly less into paints. If you want to adjust you have a budget and you don't know how much percentage of that you should invest in watercolor paper or paint, I will always go for paper and then brushes and watercolors. Because even cheap watercolors, I mean, not super chalky ones, but a little bit better, that maybe $10, or I don't know, that like in Germany, I think like this cut, like the Cotman set, Winsor Newton Cotman set is, I think it's like 10 or 12 euro. And this, I feel like for this price, it's already like a great quality. And it doesn't have to be like a $50 set or something like that. Again, I'm just outlining this here carefully. So all around this drop shape that I created earlier. I think I have it a little bit differently on this side, or don't two here. No, it's the same, pretty much. And maybe we'll add one here. A little bit different, you can see, but it's fine. Said it's a little bit difficult to paint live and explain at the same time. But I hope you get the idea. And then here I will outline the lines here that I created earlier. So all around this drop shape with the tip of the brush. So, and yeah. And then here I'll also make it a little bit wavy, like on the side. And then here I will again have this same, like I have three big round oval shapes. Okay, I need to make sure the tip is pretty pointy here, so otherwise it will be difficult. And I will add them here somewhere. So, and here, and then there will be more around. Like so. Just make sure I have lots of, like, if, for example, here you can see my brush was too dry, so I couldn't paint these circles in one go. So this is like a sign your brush is too dry. And then I'll just add a little bit more water to my brush, and then I can outline it a little bit more. You can see now it's like I have a creamy consistency. It works better, and I will just, like, it's a little bit hard, like paint like this. I don't want to smudge the other wing, so I'm just moving it around. And again, you don't have to be super precise here. I'm just creating these swirly lines and then keep some areas white. But it's okay if, for example, you paint over it. You can always use, for example, white gouache or white acrylic paint to add those dots. or masking fluid in the beginning. So I think this is already dry, I hope. And also here. And if you feel like it's a little bit difficult with the brush to outline or to fill in the space, you can also use like a black marker or something like that. So I think that when I was painting butterflies ages ago, I think it was actually like almost 10 years ago, I think I had a slightly different technique, but I don't remember how I did this. I also had one of the necklaces that I did back in the days where I painted my butterfly. I had this as an avatar here on YouTube for ages. And then I changed it to my face at some point. But I like butterflies, they're so pretty. Okay, we're almost done, guys. Hold on. And then we're pretty much done with this butterfly. So, here. So, a little white dots here and there. Okay. And then I'll just add it here. And then I will add the antlers to this side. And on this side, some more details to the lines, because I feel like they have also some thicker lines here and there. And also combine those, like, to make sure that those drop shapes around, like here, these ones, it's not just like a curve, but also you can see that they are like here, for example, it goes a little bit inside, so it's like a heart shape, pretty much. I think this also looks cool. So all right. Did I forget something? Okay, now this is like a big body. Like I didn't notice when I was painting this that the body of the butterfly turned so big, but it's fine. I think when my outline was a little bit smaller, but for some reason I didn't see this, but it's fine. See here. You prefer tubes or pans? I use both, depending on what I want to paint or how much paint I need. All right, now, lastly, I will add my text here. Just give yourself time. And I will, well, first sketch it out. Not sketch it, but like have some text here. Give yourself time. I like having a messy text below. Give yourself time. It's pretty much my handwriting. And that's pretty much it. Like you have the opportunity to, not the opportunity, like you can use different colors, you can use different shapes of butterflies. I really like this blue one. Like I don't know, I'm feeling this turquoise. I also painted the how it's called, the wings and ice cream in this color, because I feel like this, I really like blue and green together. They look pretty. And here, that's why I was always paint things multiple times, just to see, for example, if I have two things next to each other, I have something to work with. For example, now I see, okay, this body's a little bit bigger. I prefer this size more, or I like the wings here. I really like how they pointed out here, but here it's a little bit rounder. So maybe next time I will use this shape. And the colors, I will use this color next time. So that's why don't be afraid to paint multiple times. On the bottom, I wrote, give yourself time, because the butterfly takes time to evolve. So take time to learn, grow, and be patient. So this is the symbol, and the butterfly effect is like one little progress, or one little thing can create a huge momentum and huge change. So even if you just make small progress is better than nothing. Like, don't strike perfection, don't strike any like perfect plan or perfect something or the perfect idea. Just focus on progress, and one little progress leads you to another one, and you grow and you create momentum and big things happen. So I want you to have this butterfly as a reminder of that, and I hope if you create this, it will remind you of that. If you guys have any more questions, you can ask me them. Let's see if I have more questions here. The brush, I use the brush. It's a silver velvet black brush. You can find, I have a guide in the description box below that you can download all about supplies that I recommend. Also, I think I had one about watercolor mixing. And I have a problem with my watercolor pencils always don't turn as saturated as I wanted. I'm not an expert on watercolor pencils. There are also different qualities and things like that. I want to buy a new watercolor set and want to buy dry colors. So I want to ask, what is the difference between watercolor pans and cakes? I have a whole video about that. What's the difference between watercolor tubes, pans, and liquid even? Tips on staying motivated. I feel like sometimes you just don't feel motivated, but you still have to show up and do things. So don't even go there and to feel like the most, like the deadly thing about being not motivated is when you feel like, when you start thinking about, I'm not feeling like doing it. If you go this route, of course you won't feel motivated. Sometimes you just do it. Like, you don't think about, am I really motivated? Am I really excited? If you plan to do this, like for example, someone was saying, I have a commission to do and I'm just not motivated. I can't motivate myself. But you just don't think about, are you motivated or not? Sometimes you just need to show up and do it. And remember yourself. Remember why you do something. Like, what's your why behind it? Because if you lose track of, because sometimes you have to do this and that and this, and then you're just so busy that you completely forget about why you actually started your project, or why you actually paint, or why you do what you're doing. So that's why I think in my last video about taking care of yourself, sometimes you just need to reconnect with yourself and asking, what do you want? How do you feel? What needs to change? Why maybe you don't feel motivated sometimes? I also notice sometimes I'm just not feeling doing something is because I just didn't have enough sleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, why I'm so like lazy today? And it's just like, I just didn't sleep enough, for example. And then I made sure I've got enough sleep. So next week we have another live stream. It will be another time, and then we will see how we will do about that with the I really like these streams, but I don't want to make them like open to attack, like open to the public, where trolls can come and spam and make it not a nice place for everyone who really wants to just paint and learn. So we'll see. I use the same brush for watercolor and acrylic and gouache, or I have to change it. I have a whole video about watercolor brushes and what you need to use and what's the differences. So check this out. But you want to use watercolor brushes for watercolor because they are made especially for watercolors, and they hold more water and they're more gentle to the paper and stuff like that. All right, so let's see if I will answer 2 more questions, and I think I've been here already over an hour. I always want to make just an hour, and then I'm sitting here painting lines for 3 hours, because I try to explain and show you everything step by step. But I hope you got the idea of how to paint these butterflies, and also I would love to see your results. Remember, there's a free Facebook group where you can share your recreations or your interpretations of what I showed, and you can also ask questions. People can help you, like if you have any problems, you can discuss, and I also am there, pop in. Just wanted to create this safe space where people can exchange and learn together. Aska says, Mako, you were right about the supply quality. I bought a watercolor sketchbook. It's not cheap, but it takes forever to dry. It makes me difficult to create a thin line. I bought a watercolor. Well, this is interesting because some people say my paper dries so quickly, and you say I have such a problem because my paper dries forever. Yeah, you can also use a hair dryer if it really takes so long. I have this leather journal with cotton decal paper that I want to paint on, but the paper is super absorbent. Like, fabric, any suggestions how to prime the paper if possible? I am not a huge expert in that. I think there are some grounds, or not grounds, like gesso and stuff like that. For like, you could, for example, use something to prime a canvas. Like there's this, I think it's called gesso. I've never used it myself, or like a canvas primer. You can look into that. Wow, Henrik Kirk Hansen, thank you for the super chat. This is really amazing. It's the second super chat, I think. So if you enjoyed the live streams and learned a lot, there's always this opportunity to show your support. I think you can need to click on the $sign, and then you can like give like a coffee donation kind of thing as a thank you. You can buy watercolor grinding medium. Yes, I have this as well, but it's just like also solid, like very absorbent, I feel like. Weltweite Neugier, I've switched German. Weltweite Neugier said, your tutorial were very helpful. I bought some cotton paper and the butterfly turned out very well. That's awesome. Let's see here. I really didn't travel watch that I've done before. Okay. Can I draw a picture on the printed paper, dry it, and paint another layer on it? I mean, if this will work? Well, I think printed paper is just that won't survive so many layers and so much water. Adita says, I followed your advice on getting a watercolor pad. It really is way better. I'm so thankful. It just made my life so much less stressful. Yeah, it's like people feel like they need to wait for this perfect moment where they're super great in watercolor painting to invest in good quality supplies, because then they're ready. But some people don't reach this point because they feel like, oh my gosh, watercolor is not for me. Everything just turns muddy. This paper breaks. I'm just not, and they quit. And it's just the quality of the supplies that really, that's, if you feel like you're frustrated and it just doesn't work, you just look into better supplies and you will see the difference. And there are so many people who say that I changed to better quality supplies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't stop painting because now everything turns out the way I wanted it, like on the tutorials. So don't, because I mean, if you have fun paint, like if you, for example, use, I don't know, some paper that is super cheap and you know it's not that great, but it still does the work and you're happy with it, and it's totally fine. Like it's amazing. But if you're like frustrated, then it's time to maybe look into better quality supplies. Henrik says, super with the warm up sketch. Awesome. And thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Paint a galaxy on your room walls. I painted a galaxy on my umbrella. Does this count? I have a video about that. It's like, I don't know, it feels like 10 years old. All right, guys. So remember, there's this Facebook group you can join. Remember to answer the questions and accept the rules because it's important. And have a wonderful day. Show me. You can share on Instagram also your paintings, but also I would love to see them in the Facebook group because it can it's such a cool way to see everything in one place, not just like randomly here and there in DMs or like when I get tagged. But like it's so cool to see all the different results at the same time. And people can actually see, wow, everyone's art looks different, and everyone. It's okay to make it look different. It doesn't mean it's bad. It's just like your painting looks this way, the other person looks this way, and that's the beauty of it. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, step by step. Can't wait to see your results. And then yeah, we'll see you next week. I don't remember the GSM time, but it's in Germany. It will be 5. I don't know how much, but I will let you know in the updates, and like I will have a post where it will be linked when everything will be happening. So I hope to see you there. Hope you enjoy this live stream. Have a great Saturday, great weekend, and I will see you next week and everyone on the internet. Have a great day. Bye, guys.